Yes, it's like, always when we talk about this, this topic is always controversial, you understand? But at the end of the day, we should understand there are victims and there are people who victimize them, We have to accept that. And, as an, African who was born on the continent, I was fortunate to, not to be not to feel the pain of those who were sold. You understand? So there's different feeling and there's different pain that we pass through. Like, I will talk about Senegambia, like Jollof Kingdom. Like, I'm a Senegambian, our area. What I will talk about that is like in the stuff. We fought back. If you go to history, you'll know that like Senegambians are very stubborn. Like even in slave, those who were taken from Senegambia area, they fought back. You understand? There must be a people who sold them, but majority of them fought back. If you can do another research about Bara War, you will see Gambians fought Britain. Britain up to the extent that they have to call another European countries to come and help them to fight Gambians.
Nice.
They fought back. So I still cannot believe that, like, individually, like, we will not accept, like, I sold you. No, I didn't that. Like, the topic will go for decades, for centuries. We will never come to this time. We will never finish this topic. But at the end of the one thing I think Africans should accept, like, it's like your pain and our pains are different, but we are all victims.
And this is one thing that's very good is that we should only as Americans be dealing with Africans that accept that what was done against other Africans is incorrect. See, the biggest thing, the biggest solution Africa has to start accepting is Africans should not hurt Africans the same way ADOS should not hurt ADOS. It should be a crime amongst ADOS women. Let me say it again. It should be a crime amongst ADOS women when ADOS people hurt ADOS people, because the main people who hurt ADOS people are ADOS people, but they hide out under the skirts of women. Let me say it again. They hide out under the skirts of women. And if you're hiding out under the skirts of women, not only are you not a man for your actions, you're not taking accountability for your actions, but two, you as a ADOS person are a parasite to the growth of the melanated family, the melanated diaspora family. Africans who still have this I'm from this tribe, I'm from this country mentality, we as Americans can't bond with those people because those people don't realize that they're black. They're still stuck on I'm using this white name that white people gave me, so I'm gonna call myself White Nigeria, even though I'm really a Nok or a Neri. I'm gonna forget all that and I'm gonna do what the white people tell me to do, and I'm gonna call myself a Nigerian. See, that type of stuff is ridiculous. Just like we don't call ourselves Americans. We've never called ourselves American. One of the Africans tried to say that to me. Well, don't you call yourself an American? No, we don't, because that's a white term. And see, it's hard for the Africans to understand white terminology, and you're taking on white terminology. You need to find out what your core African terminology is, or they start taking on Arab philosophy. Just like, people tell you Islam is not an African creation, it's a Arab creation. But it's hard to get some melanated people to understand that, especially those people who are ADOS, it should be a crime and a penalty for ADOS to hurt ADOS.
That's what I think about this. Because if you continue talking about this, I think, the more we talk about it, the more it get more controversial. Because at the end of the individually, we will defend ourselves. Like, I didn't solve you. If
Now, for me, that part is very cowardly on behalf of Africans. The more you talk about this, the more controversial it'll be, and people will start to say, "Well, I didn't sold you." What does that mean? It's kind of like we people who did wrong in the ghetto. Yes, you have every right to hold people in the ghetto who did crime, sold drugs, even though they were children. I mean, we were children, most of us, but we are accountable for a lot of that. Okay. And to say, well, I'm not doing it now, you know what I'm saying? Or I didn't do it. Yeah, the whole point is to hold the discussion so that it don't repeat, because it's repeated century after century. Every 100 years it keeps repeating. And we have to shame people about it so that it don't repeat again. Part of education is not repeating. So why did it go on for hundreds of years? Well, because people kept participating and they didn't want to acknowledge their grandfather did it. It's kind of like with the Ku Klux Klan or anti-black things in America. Yeah, today's white guy may not have did it, but he has to acknowledge that maybe his grandfather or his grandmother was heavily on that.